The desert is huge, it's vast. Isn't there room for everything and everyone? But the truth was then, as it's always been in the 20th and 21st century in California and actually across the West, that every single acre is spoken for, and millions of acres of desert were being fought over. So for example, the military has massive bases across the desert and uses the desert for flight and combat training. There are many places, both on and off reservation, that Southwestern tribes hold sacred. The desert is a premier recreational destination for millions of people who come here to camp, rock climb, ride their off-road vehicles, ride their mountain bikes, go birding. Now, that's just a few of the reasons why people come here. The desert obviously has a plethora of the essential ingredients for clean energy, lots of sunshine and lots of wind. And the deserts are home to a rich diversity of plants and wildlife, some of which exist nowhere else on Earth. It's home to creatures like the bighorn sheep that need lots of space to roam from mountain range to mountain range, and the desert tortoise, which, by the way, the prime habitat of the desert tortoise, sun-filled valleys, is an ideal location for large solar facilities. So that's the background, and my answer to the cable news network was this: it's possible. It's possible to have the clean energy that we want and need, and to protect the desert wildlife and habitat, as well as all of these other interests and values, but we need to have a plan. The news channel wasn't satisfied with that answer, but that was the answer. And that's what the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan is, and that's why we worked so hard on it for so very long. Even though the cable news producer didn't recognize the merits of my response, the federal and state governments recognized the need for a plan, which is why under the Bush administration, the federal government signed agreements to work with California on a desert plan, and that's why then Governor Schwarzenegger signed an executive order to create the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan. 8 years of scientific research, many millions of dollars, public meetings, and countless hours of collaboration and hard work went into creating this plan. It doesn't have to be torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. We have a good plan that addresses the needs of all stakeholders. What we need to do now is implement it. And while there may be some tweaks that are needed along the way, the existing plan is the best starting point. In 2016, what we call the DRECP, the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, became basically the policy for how things are going to get done. The policy and the plan are not perfect, but the DRECP is undeniably a great improvement over no plan at all. Not only does the plan provide zones for large solar and wind power plants on public lands where they will have less impact, and not on top of our desert national parks and wilderness and preserves, but it also specifically protected 6.5 million acres of important California desert lands. We are confident that by working together, the stakeholders, the state, and the Bureau of Land Management can solve any issues through implementation of the plan. And what's wonderful is that the complexity and importance of the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan is now part of the national dialogue. Thank you.